And welcome back to another episode of Write Like You Mean It. What do you think? Trying stuff out. Where we've been discussing process analysis. Bow, 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 bow. Phew. So that we can write a process analysis essay. Oh, look at that focus. Love it. Number 4, be sure the process is complete. So in a how-to paper, you're describing a process that you probably can do automatically. And it's really easy to omit some obvious steps because you don't really think about them consciously. Sometimes not consciously at all because it's so ingrained in you. So to then have to go back and write those steps out can be a really interesting experience. You're reopening things that have just been like packaged and transformed over time so that they almost are just part of you. That's assuming like you're really, really good at whatever you're describing, or you have extreme knowledge of it, specialized, even expertise. So, like teachers have to do this all the time. You have to think back to what it was like when they were first learning it. And even then, that's not a guaranteed route to make sure that you're remembering all of those hidden steps, because you're only really referencing your experience of learning, remembering what it was like for you. And even then, because it's remembering, it's fragmented, it's dreamlike, hazy, itself incomplete, for most of us. So yeah, it's a really good idea to check the completion of your process by having somebody read it, somebody else, other eyes, to you know bring into the picture and check out what you've written so far. Um, it's probably why people do surveys, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, so all these obvious steps for you, the person who knows what's going on, they're not so obvious to your reader. I mean, maybe they are to some, but that's not a guarantee for your whole readership. And of course, you should keep your reader in mind at all times during the composition process, especially in rhetorical situations where the words you lay down prompt impetus for real action. Or, in other words, where the discourse you provide is meant to become manifest through your reader and thereby satisfy the exigence at hand.
Where the discourse you provide is meant to become manifest through your reader and thereby satisfy the exigence at hand.
So that's obviously um, a very academically inclined way of saying things. If we're talking about the study of composition and people, classify themselves as rhetoricians or experts of rhetoric, that's probably how they would think about it. That's how I think about it, but not foremost. Okay. Um, just to bring that back to theory. And the exigence, remember, is the something that the speaker and audience want to discuss. So they want some discourse to emerge from it, right? And in our case of the how to, that discourse is meant to enable them to do something actually. So we're looking at a transformation of the words into real action, maybe fixing the sink or something. So what does this look like in real life? Well, if you're telling the reader how to stop a leak in the kitchen sink, for instance, don't forget to have the poor soul shut off the water valve, the water supply, before removing the faucet and replacing the gasket. Geyser everywhere just because that one little step that, you, maybe the expert plumber, whoever, didn't recall into the steps of the process. So because that step wasn't there, because it was absent, there wasn't any guaranteed potential of it becoming actual. Yeah, so there you go. There's a good life lesson right there. Absence eliminates potential. So go to class. Absence eliminates potential. One more time. Kids, adults, young adults, go to class. Me, go to class. You know, I should always go to class, because if I, the teacher, don't go to class, I eliminate a lot of potential. Huh.
The prophecy is true.
Yeah. So like this even works for COVID, you know, because if you're not there, you're eliminating the potential of it coming home with you. So yeah, absence eliminates potential in good ways and bad ways. Such is life. C'est la vie. This is also to say that you should consider the skill level, no matter how varied it may be, of your audience, of your reader. And so you should also, as a consequence of that, and as much as is needed, reposition yourself as your audience. Put yourself in your reader's shoes to see what it looks like from the novice or intermediate or whatever perspective that's different from yours. And even then, if like you're an expert writing for an expert, still put yourself in your reader's shoes. You know, it may be even more important in cases where the skill level is on the same plane. It's on the same level. And, you know, like this leads into interesting areas, this idea of repositioning, because you're also creating a lot of potential for having empathetic experience, sometimes awesomely empathetic experience, by repositioning your approach to things. From home to the universe in quest of being. Wow. You know, Bill and Ted would be really proud of the journey that we've taken here together today. The journey, circuitous as it may have been, as it definitely was, through number 4. Be sure the process is complete.